Hello and welcome to Women in the Coaching Arena podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Lott, a business mentor and ICF accredited coach, and I help coaches to build brilliant businesses. I know that when you prepare to enter the arena, there is fear, self-doubt, comparison, anxiety, uncertainty. You can tend to armor up and protect yourself from vulnerability. In this podcast, I'll be sharing honest, not hype, practical and emotional tools to support you to make the difference that you're here for. Dare greatly, you belong in this arena. Hello, welcome to episode 114 of Women in the Coaching Arena. I am so glad you are here. Today, I wanted to talk about something that's been coming up a lot lately, and not just in conversation with clients, but also in the wider world. So there is a lot of talk about the economy, rising costs, financial pressures. There is worry in the air, and understandably so. We are not officially in a recession, but the cost of living crisis is affecting how people think, how they spend, how they show up. And therefore, if you are a coach growing your business, it's easy to let that worry seep in. Maybe you are wondering, are people still investing? Am I being unrealistic for wanting more clients right now? And today I wanted to speak directly into that space with clarity, calm, and encouragement, because I honestly believe that what you focus on grows, and I want to help you to choose focus over fear in these times. So I thought long and hard about whether to record this episode because, in all honesty, I don't let things like this affect me or my business, which might seem a little bit crazy, but I honestly think recession is fueled by fear. So the more that we talk about it, the more that it seeps into our world, and therefore the fear causes people to stop spending and all of those things. And someone said to me recently, who was in a mastermind with me, it's really tough out there right now. And I felt obliged to agree and said, yeah, because I guess I felt bad for him because he was obviously saying it's really tough out there right now. And in all honesty, I'm not experiencing this at all in my business right now. And he does very similar work to me. So it was really interesting how I allowed myself to get drawn into agreeing with something that honestly isn't a reality for me right now. So I want to help you to see that as well, that just because people are talking about this doesn't mean that you need to jump on the bandwagon and agree, because that's how it all starts. We all agree, and therefore everyone starts tightening their belts, and therefore the recession does kick in. So let's start here though, because I'm going off on a tangent, that people are still investing. So the buyer journey might be slower, it might be more considered, but coaching hasn't stopped being needed. And in fact, when the world is unpredictable, that's when support, perspective, and space to think becomes even more valuable. Think back to COVID, the coaching industry absolutely exploded during COVID, despite the fact that loads of people were losing money, worried about their jobs, all of the things. So if you have been feeling stuck, thinking that people aren't buying or it's not the right time, let me offer you a reframe. It's not about slashing your prices. It's about communicating with more precision and purpose. Ask yourself now, do I know exactly who I'm helping right now? Am I speaking to the specific problems that they're experiencing in this moment? Is my offer clearly showing the result that they want? When things feel uncertain, vague offers don't land. Specificity builds trust, and trust is what converts. So rather than worry and going to a spin about the cost of living crisis, double down on your offer and perhaps focusing on those who can afford it. So it's really worth considering whether this even affects you. Some industries and some people will be more affected than others. Some people out there have a mass of disposable income. I recently attended a workshop and they said that the baby boomers are the people to target right now because they are the richest people in our economy. So maybe it's time to focus your efforts on baby boomers or people who do have more disposable income. It doesn't mean changing your niche. It might just mean refocusing on those who are slightly further along in the journey or have the disposable income to spend. Here is where mindset matters because, like I mentioned earlier, I've heard coaches say, no one's buying. People just don't have the money right now. And I wholeheartedly disagree because I like to look for evidence that some people are succeeding. So if they are gaining clients, there is absolutely no reason why you can't. One of my clients recently turned down a £300,000 contract for leadership coaching. It was a 3-year gig. And she's turned that down. So someone else out there will be able to get that opportunity. And they actually sought her out and requested a quote from her. So it's back to whoever is most visible will be seen by the people who do have the money to invest in coaching. So if you let these thoughts in, they will shape your energy, your actions, your visibility. So, of course, we can't control the economy, but we can choose how to respond to it. We don't have to buy into fear and scarcity. We can decide to stay steady, trust our work, trust ourselves, show up anyway. And that's not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing what kind of energy we bring into our business and into our lives. So let's bring it back into our own circle of control. What we can control is staying visible, even when responses may be quieter, doubling down on your ideal client and message, making it really clear, resonant, and relevant, offering value consistently, whether that is through content, offers, or conversations, and being the calm, confident presence that your ideal clients are craving. People are watching, reading, listening, and when they are ready, you want to be the one they already trust. This is your moment to lead, not from pressure, not from fear, but from solid clarity and trust. The clients who are a right fit for your work will appreciate that. They are not looking for drama. They're looking for someone who can help them to navigate change, make the decisions that they need to make, and move forward. And that is what you can help them do. Don't shrink. Don't wait for anything to blow over. Keep building, keep showing up, keep choosing to trust the seeds that you are planting. And I also want to share that there is absolutely no shame in associate work, getting a part-time job alongside your business, like needs must in your business. When I started my business, I had 3 jobs on the side of my coaching business because I was so nervous to be completely dependent on myself and my business. And tiny steps. I quit the first job, quit the second job, quit the third job. And I was really, really scared about not feeling like I had a job as such. And therefore, it took me a long time to lean into this unstable world of entrepreneurship where there are no guarantees. And if you are ever looking for guarantees, I suggest you go and get a job immediately, because ask any business person. There are no guarantees. You can work hard, we can work consistently, we can show up, we can do all of those things. But in the end, all we can do is trust ourselves to know that we can bring in income some way or another whenever we need it. If I was struggling in my business right now and had no clients, I would have 1,000 things that I would choose to do, whether that's going on someone's LinkedIn and connecting with them or commenting for them on their profile. I would do absolutely anything if I needed to for that income in my business. So please, if you are struggling and if you are needing to gain other opportunities while you build your business, then please know that that is completely okay in doing what you need to do right now for your business and for yourself. Thank you for joining me today. And like I say at the end of every episode, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seeds. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Women in the Coaching Arena. I have a mass of free resources on my website, joannalottcoaching.com. That's Joanna with an A and Lott with 2 T's, joannalottcoaching.com. And I'll also put links in the show notes below. Let me know if you found this episode useful, share it with a friend and leave me a review, and I will personally thank you for that. Remember to trust yourself, believe in yourself, and be the wise gardener who keeps on watering the seed. Get into the arena, dare greatly and try.